Speaking out, though, about racist fans threatening her, let's listen to her on her new podcast. She had a fantastic season in the WNBA. She's a star. She speaks.
Did you hear what Atlanta Dream co-owner Renee Montgomery just said about Caitlin Clark's fans? She's calling them out for being toxic and wants them gone from the WNBA. But is that fair? Are all of Clark's supporters really causing problems? Or is there more to the story? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
They've taken efforts to tear down Angel too far. Chicago Sky Forward opened up about enduring the never-ending cyber attacks from Clark's legion of supporters since the two athletes' teams squared off.
Let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a second. This girl is on fire. She's the college basketball superstar who's breaking records left and right. Now she's heading to the WNBA, and everyone's losing their minds. The hype is real, folks. Fans are going crazy. Ticket sales are through the roof, and the league is getting more attention than ever. But here's the thing. With all this new attention, is the WNBA ready for what comes with it? Let's break down what's really going on here. Is this explosion of fans a blessing or a curse for the league? You won't believe what's happening behind the scenes. It's time to dig into the good, the bad, and the ugly of this whole situation. The WNBA's newfound attention is a roller coaster of emotions. 1 minute, we're celebrating record-breaking viewership. The next, we're dealing with racist comments and AI-generated hate. What's really going on behind the scenes of this fan explosion? Let's talk about the good stuff first. The WNBA is blowing up. And it's awesome to see. More people are tuning in, tickets are selling like hotcakes, and women's basketball is finally getting the spotlight it deserves. It's like the league hit the jackpot with Caitlin Clark coming in. Fans are excited, and that energy is contagious. But you know what's crazy? Some of Clark's fans are doing things that are making people's jaws drop, and not in a good way. Renee Montgomery, co-owner of the Atlanta Dream, is calling out some seriously messed up behavior. We're talking racist comments, threats, and even AI-morphed images. It's like some fans forgot there are real people behind those jerseys.
I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans that are like, they ride for her. And I respect that respectfully. Caitlin is an amazing player, and I've always thought she was an amazing player. We've been playing each other since high school.
Imagine being Angel Reese right now. She's out there bawling, doing her thing, and what does she get? Death threats. Yeah, you heard that right. Reese said, "It sucks to see that, and it's really hard that I have to go through that." Can you believe fans are following her home? That's not fandom. That's straight up stalking. Now, Montgomery's not saying all Clark fans are bad. She gets that rivalries are part of sports, but she's drawing a line in the sand. It's okay to be a hater in sports, but being racist, sexist, and violent with your words? Come on now. What are we doing? She's got a point, right? There's a big difference between trash talk and hate speech. Here's where it gets really messed up. Some people are creating fake images and spreading them around. We're not talking about innocent memes here. These are the kind of things that can seriously mess with a player's reputation and mental health. It's like social media turned into a weapon, and Reese is caught in the crossfire.
Whenever you think of Angel Reese, people often mention Caitlin Clark. You've said in interviews, there's no beef, but the media keeps going on.
But don't think this is just about Caitlin Clark or her fans. Nah, this is bigger than that. The WNBA is growing fast, and it's running into some serious growing pains. More fans mean more attention, but it also means dealing with all the baggage that comes with it. The league's trying to figure out how to handle this new level of intensity. Reese thinks there's something deeper going on here. She said, "I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands on any of that." She's pointing out that Clark isn't behind this hate, but there's a bigger issue at play. It's like the sport is a mirror, showing us some ugly truths about society. Now, some Clark fans are firing back. They're saying it's not fair to paint them all with the same brush. And you know what? They've got a point too. Not every fan is out there causing trouble, but it's hard to ignore the ones who are crossing the line. The WNBA's in a tough spot. They want the growth, the excitement, the packed arenas, but they're also trying to keep things positive and respectful. It's like they're walking a tightrope between popularity and toxicity. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Ever wonder why some fans are going nuclear over women's basketball?
Background: Angel Reese does not harbor hate for her rival, WNBA rookie Caitlin Clark. No, she has no hate for her rival, Caitlin Clark. There's nothing going on there. The hate, though, is coming towards Angel Reese. Racism. Women against each other. Same cannot be said about the Indiana Fever star players fans.
It's not just about points and plays. There's a whole lot of baggage we need to unpack. And it might make you see this WNBA drama in a whole new light. Think about it. We're not just talking about sports here. This WNBA situation, it's like holding up a mirror to our society, and the reflection isn't pretty. We're seeing racism, sexism, and all kinds of ugly stuff bubbling up. It's not just happening on the court, it's everywhere. Angel Reese dropped a truth bomb that's got everyone talking. She said, "I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it." And you know what? She's not wrong. The hate she's getting isn't just normal sports rivalry stuff. It's deep, it's personal, and it's messed up. Here's the kicker. The media's not helping. They're all over Caitlin Clark and her fans, but they're missing the big picture. They're not giving us the full story. It's like they're treating the WNBA differently than men's sports. Double standards, anyone? And get this, it's not just about race. It's about gender, too. Women's sports have always had to fight harder for respect, for attention, for everything. Now that the WNBA is blowing up, all these issues are coming to the surface. It's like someone turned on the lights, and we're seeing all the cockroaches scurry. Remember what Renee Montgomery said? This group cannot be a representation of what the WNBA would want in their league. She's talking about those toxic fans, but she's also pointing at a bigger problem. It's not just about a few bad apples. It's about a whole system that's been messed up for a long time. You know what's crazy? Some people are using AI to create fake, nasty images of players. That's next-level harassment. It's not just trash talk anymore. It's like they're using technology to bully these women. And for what? Because they're good at basketball? Because they're successful? It doesn't make sense. Let's talk about Angel Reese for a second. This girl is facing death threats. Death threats. For playing basketball. She said, "It sucks to see that, and it's really hard that I have to go through that." Can you imagine going to work every day knowing there are people out there who hate you that much? It's insane. And here's the thing. This isn't just a WNBA problem. It's happening in women's sports all over.
Reese was moved to tears in April in a post-game news conference where she addressed facing death threats. "All this has happened since I won the national championship," Angel said, "and it sucks. But I still wouldn't change. I'm going to always leave that mark and be who I am and stand on that." And then teammate Bojack Johnson also defended her.
It's like every time women start to succeed, there's this backlash. People start throwing around words like cocky or aggressive when they're talking about female athletes. But when men act the same way, they're confident and competitive. See the problem? The media's got a part in this too. They're not giving us the whole story. They're focusing on the drama, the rivalries, but they're not talking about the real issues. They're not asking why this is happening. They're not calling out the racism and sexism for what it is. So, we've got to ask ourselves, how did we get here? And more importantly, how do we fix it? It's not just about cleaning up the WNBA's fan base. It's about looking at our whole society and asking some tough questions. Why are we still dealing with this stuff in 2024? Why is it so hard for some people to just let women play ball without all this hate? Imagine if we could turn this whole situation around and make the WNBA fan base even stronger. Well, it's not as impossible as you might think. In fact, the solution might be right under our noses. Let's talk about fan education for a second. It's not just about telling people what not to do. It's about showing them how to be awesome supporters without tearing others down. Think about it. What if we could channel all that passion into something positive? Renee Montgomery's got a point when she compares this to NFL fandom. NFL fans are crazy passionate, right? But they figured out how to keep things mostly under control. It's like they've cracked the code on how to be diehard fans without crossing the line. So, how do we make this work for the WNBA? It's all about creating a culture of respect. Imagine if every time a fan wanted to trash talk, they had to come up with something clever and fun instead of going for the low blows. It could be like a game within the game. And get this, what if we turned the tables on those toxic fans? Instead of just kicking them out, what if we could show them a better way to be a fan? It's like turning your enemies into allies. Sounds crazy, but it could work. Here's where it gets really interesting. What if we got the players involved? Imagine Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese teaming up to show fans how to support their favorites without hating on others. That would be a game changer, right? But it's not just about the fans and players. The league's got to step up too. They need to set some clear guidelines. Not just rules, but like a fan code of honor or something. Make it cool to be a respectful fan, you know? Here's a wild idea. What if we turned this whole thing into a positive competition? Like, which fan base can come up with the most creative, non-toxic ways to support their team? Make it a point of pride to be the most awesome, respectful fans in sports. Social media is a big part of this too. Instead of it being a place for hate, what if we could turn it into a place for epic fan creativity? Memes, jokes, challenges, all the fun stuff, but without the nasty edge. It could be like a whole new level of fandom. Montgomery talked about how some fans are crossing the line with racism and violence. But what if we flipped that script? What if being a true fan meant standing up against that stuff? Make it so uncool to be racist or violent that no one would even think about it. Here's the thing. This isn't just about making the WNBA more fun to watch. It's about setting an example for all of sports. Imagine if the WNBA became known as the league with the most positive, creative fans. That would be something, right? But for this to work, it's not just about the fans. The league and the players have a part to play too. It's like a team effort, but instead of on the court, it's in the stands and online. Everyone's got to be on board. Team effort, huh? That's exactly what the WNBA needs right now. But here's the real question. Can superstars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese put aside their rivalry to save the league's reputation? The answer might surprise you. Let's talk about how the WNBA could turn this whole drama into its biggest strength. It's not just about damage control anymore. This could be the moment that defines the league's future. And you know what? It all starts with the player. Think about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese for a second. These two are like fire and ice on the court, but off the court, they could be the secret weapon the WNBA needs. Imagine if they teamed up to show fans how to support their favorites without hating on others. That would be a total game changer, right? Reese has already spoken out about the issues she's facing. She said, "I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands on any of that." That's huge. She's calling out the problem, but she's also making it clear that Clark isn't behind the hate. That's the kind of mature, thoughtful approach that could really make a difference. Now, picture this: Clark and Reese, side by side, using their massive platforms to promote unity and respect among fans. They could show everyone that you can be fierce competitors on the court and still have each other's backs off it. That's the kind of leadership that could change the whole vibe of the league. But it's not just on the players. The WNBA itself has got to step up. They need to set some clear guidelines for fan behavior and stick to them. No more wishy-washy stuff. They need to make it crystal clear what's okay and what's not. And when someone crosses the line, they've got to bring down the hammer. No exceptions. You know what's crazy? The WNBA has a chance to do something bigger here. They could lead by example in addressing some serious societal issues through sports. Racism, sexism, online harassment. These are problems that go way beyond basketball. But by taking a stand, the WNBA could show other leagues how it's done. Remember what Renee Montgomery said? She's not messing around. She wants accountability. She said, Clark's fans who spread hate with racist and sexist comments shouldn't be allowed to represent the WNBA in any capacity. That's the kind of strong stance the league needs to take. But here's where it gets really interesting. The WNBA could turn this whole situation into a positive movement. They could create campaigns that celebrate diversity, promote respect, and show fans how to be passionate without being toxic. They could partner with anti-racism organizations, run workshops for fans, and use their platform to educate people. And you know what? This could be huge for the WNBA's brand. Imagine if they became known as the league that doesn't just talk about social issues, but actually does something about them. That's the kind of reputation that could attract new fans, new sponsors, and take the league to a whole new level. But for this to work, everyone's got to be on board. Players, coaches, owners, fans. It's like a massive team effort. And just like in basketball, if one person's not playing their part, the whole thing falls apart. So, what's the big obstacle? It's not just about changing behaviors. It's about changing hearts and minds. It's about getting people to see that being a true fan means supporting your team without tearing others down. It's about creating a culture where respect is just as important as winning. All right, let's wrap this up. The WNBA's blowing up, but it's got some serious problems to deal with. Toxic fans, racism, sexism. It's a mess. But here's the thing. This could be the moment that changes everything. The league, the players, and the fans all have a part to play. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese could team up off the court to show us how it's done. The WNBA could set some real rules and stick to them. And the fans? We could make it cool to be respectful. This isn't just about basketball. It's about setting an example for all sports. It's about showing the world that we can be passionate without being jerks. So, what kind of WNBA do you want to see? Because right now, we all have a chance to shape it.